So, Pat Carroll!
It's nice to be here with all of you. Are you having fun here? It's very busy. It's been very busy. And everybody looks like they're having fun. I enjoyed walking around last night and watching everybody in costume. My Lord, some of those people are crazy. But didn't they go through trouble to do some of those costumes? It's fantastic. Did you see any of them?
I've seen some just walking around today and yesterday. We have an Ariel that just got here.
Oh, good. Hi,
The
Ariel.
walk around, not flop around Ariel.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, look at here. Well
Awesome.
done. Brilliantly done. I'm hiring her when I have a mystery.
You're pre-hired.
That is so beautifully done. Thank you.
Dina, everybody.
Now, what is this supposed to be, Jim?
Oh, this is, the last time that you were here, we had you read a little bit from the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I
The
remember that.
ghost host spiel. There's another part in the Haunted Mansion that might be more apropos because it's a spell, it's an incantation. It's Madame Leota's incantation.
They know it better than I do. But it's beautifully written.
Why, thank you. I copy and pasted it myself. So if you would like to do that now, since we set it up.
Are you all fastened your safety belts?
Oh, yeah.
Please begin recording now.
Serpents and spiders, tail of a cat, call in the spirits wherever they're at. Rap on a table, it's time to respond. Send us a message from somewhere beyond. Goblins and ghoulies from last Halloween, awaken the spirits with your tambourine. Creepies and crawlies, toads in a pond, let there be music from regions beyond. Wizards and witches, wherever you dwell, give us a hint by ringing a bell. That's it.
Can you give us a little bit of a Now, you had a busy year. You were here. I think so. By the way, Pat just celebrated last month, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, her 86th birthday. 86th. Hold that mic up.
Oh, hello, Mike. I'm something. Don't any of you be afraid of getting older. It's a boy. And you know all it is, it's just age. It's not paint on your car. It's nothing that's horrible. Aging is what you make of it. And I don't care what age you are or what age you're going to be. Live life. That's what it's all about. Since my 87th birthday, and I expect to have more, and I'm looking forward to number 90.
Woo, yeah.
But you know, Jim, I am very fortunate, and I say it every day, and I thank the good God above. I have had so much joy and pleasure in my profession for 67 of those 87 years that every day I say thank you. And it's a wonderful profession to be in, and I have been grateful to work in it all these years. And so find something for yourself that you're passionate about, that you love to do in this world. Don't just accept any work that comes along. You go for the work that is close to your heart and the work that you adore, because that will make your life one heck of a ball. And don't you ever give up on it. Ever, ever, ever. I have done the work that I've loved for 67 years, and I couldn't be more grateful for every year of it. So that's it.
that's recorded in so many ways. That should be the forward of your memoir that you're working on. I think that would be brilliant. Before we get to your memoir, because I do want to talk about that, you talked about 67 years in the entertainment business. One of your earliest jobs that you won an Emmy for was Caesar's Hour. For those of you that need to know, Sid Caesar is one of my idols, and he was also the kind of grandfather of sketch television comedy. He had Show of Shows, he had Caesar's Hour, and the writers that worked on that are like the pantheon of comedy writers. Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks, Woody Allen later, Neil Simon, his brother Danny, all these, Selma. Howard Morris, Selma Diamond, right?
Yep.
Who was also the little old lady that was on Night Court. She was a brilliant comedy writer and performer as well. You worked on that show in '56. That's when you won your Emmy, right?
Yes.
Tell us, because you mentioned it was like going to comedy school. Tell us a little bit about working with Sid and all those great folks.
Well, you're such a young audience. I don't know how many of you would remember Sid Caesar and his very literally, when I said that to Jim, I meant it. Going to rehearsals with Sid Caesar, Carl Reiner, and Howard Morris was like going to comedy school, because those three men had worked together on your shows for Max Liebman. Some of you might remember that. And I tell you, they were wonderful. They sensed each other. They knew what the other person was thinking. They could time things without anybody telling them, the director or anybody. And I would sit in rehearsals and just watch those three men work and think, oh my glory, I have an opportunity here to learn from these three men, because it's like sports. You know, you go out and you play baseball, or you play basketball, or you play football, or you play tennis. And what is the major part of that sport? Timing. Timing, how you hit the ball, how you run to get the ball. The same thing is true in theatrical comedy. It's all timing. And it's very exciting to watch it being done. To watch it being done is like watching a painter paint a classic. It's extraordinary. And you all have timing. Every one of you sitting out there, you all have timing. No matter for what, you have timing, because rhythm is part of each human being. And the rhythms may be different, but you've got it. Oh, baby, have you done it. And you can utilize it in whatever way you wish. It can be for sport that you enjoy playing and involve yourself in. But timing is the essence of the theatrical profession in every level, in every area. And Sid Caesar and Carl Reiner, and you can still see Carl Reiner on television occasionally in a guest spot. He's an old coot now.
He's got a Twitter. He's on Twitter. He like tweets every day. And
yes, he does.
Yeah.
Because Carl loves to communicate. He loves people. And he wants to be in touch with people. So he is. And thank God for all of our... Well, I have so many electronic devices, I can't count them. And we're not my granddaughter. I probably wouldn't know how to work them. Oh, thank God for grandchildren. But those three men, if they went out, because in those days we used to do two shows. You did one for the East Coast and one for the West Coast.
Live, right? Live.
Absolutely live, Jim. And it was for the time difference between our two time zones. And I used to laugh a lot, because I thought, suppose we goof up horribly. You know, then one part of the country will know we did well, and the other part will say, oh, they're horrible. But Sid and Carl and Howie worked together like slick athletes. They almost read each other's minds when they were doing something. And if it happened on, say, a West Coast show, that the sketch didn't work, the audience didn't care for it, they would throw it out and ad-lib a brand new sketch. Ad-lib a brand new sketch. I would shake my head in wonder, how did they do that? But they'd worked together so long. Again, timing, familiarity. And they were able to do that, and I thought that was wonderful. But the one time that I was really rather embarrassed, I was doing a sketch with Sid Caesar, and I was playing a very nervous waitress. And I had almost been fired because I'd spilled something on people, and I was a nervous wreck. I was so petrified I was going to hurt this man, Sid Caesar, that I was being ultra careful about everything. So he gave me his order, and I'm shaking and carrying on with twitches and the rest of it. And I came back with his order and hit him in the back of his head with one of those big, intense trays. And Caesar collapsed under the table. I thought, oh my God, I've killed Sid Caesar. And I thought, well, what do I do now? Do I resign on air? Do I apologize to the nation? What do I do? And then I saw Sid's shoulders going. He was laughing that I'd almost killed him. But he was the most equitable of men. Nothing that happened disturbed him, distressed him. He just swept it up and went right along with what he was doing. And this would be on a live show. So you never really knew what to expect from him. You know, because he was reacting to the circumstances of the moment himself. And he was a good outfielder. He knew how to take care of things. He knew how gorgeously to take care of things. But to work with professional gentlemen like that is quite an honor. And in his case, a double honor, because he was, I think, probably the best sketch artist in television we had. And he set the level rather high for everybody who came after him to do sketch comedy in television. But it was my joy and pleasure to work with all three of those gentlemen, and I totally enjoyed it.
Now, going from the beginning and now to your career right now, there's a movie that's being shown at festivals right now called BFFs.
Yeah, but I'm only in it in one scene, Jim.
But that's enough.
I guess it had to be. It's my daughter's film. So I insisted I was in it. And she paid me $100. More proud of that than anything.
Are you going to get points on the DVD sales?
Pardon?
Are you getting?
They give me points for nothing. I'm embroidered. But I'll tell you something. I'm very proud. These two young women have written the script, one of them being my daughter, have produced the film, have publicized it, have done everything about it, and it's a good film. It's called Best Friends. Best Friends Forever. And they are now in the process of working with a distributor to get it out. So if you see Best Friends Forever playing any place, please go to see it. It's my daughter's film. And I would love it if you did. And I saw the film. I've seen it 8 times. Do you think that's too pushy? Come on, it's your kid. You have to support it. And I have been so proud of those two young women for doing this film, writing it, acting in it, producing it. I think that's marvelous when people can do that, particularly young women. Because the film industry, I think you'll agree with me, Jim, has always been male. It's always been controlled by males and the rest of it. And for these young women today to go out, and that's not easy to make a film. It's very involved and very hard. And they did it. They did it. I am so proud of them. I'm proud as punch. And at one film festival, they got a standing ovation at the end of the film. And I thought, isn't that exciting? And she said they almost cried. They were so touched. Isn't that wonderful? You know, about what the work is. Be proud of your work. Enjoy it. And be thrilled when people recognize your work and they don't care what the work is. But when work that you do is recognized by other people, that's pretty wonderful. So enjoy it, and grin and cry, do whatever you want to, but you deserve it. So enjoy, relax, and have a good time with any kind of creative work you do, or any kind of work, as a matter of fact. I think work is good for us, keeps us from being lazy.
And for being poor.
Mostly for being poor. Mostly for being poor. But if you see that film called Best Friends Forever, the name Tara Carsian, that's my youngest daughter, and Andrea Grano, They will have done this film and it will be shown, I think, within the next 6 months within theaters. So please be on the lookout for it, because I think you'll enjoy the film. I did. And I even saw it one time with an audience. The rest of the time I'd just seen it in a room. But I saw it with an audience. I was shocked there was laughter.
That'll go on the back of the DVD. Pat Carroll.
Don't be shocked. Oh, look, it's wonderful to have your kids involved in your business. It really is, because they are in a new generation. It's a new kind of business now, Jim. So with a child in it, I don't say child, she's a grown woman.
Well, she is your child, and you're
Well,
proud.
she is, but don't understand. But anyway, it's very powerful, to have kids, because that's not easy stuff for man or woman to do.
Hello, Daddy Shepherd. Let the please come in this way.
But I must say that the one scene I did was a dinner scene, and I played her mother in it. And I had to say, they were dreadful to me on the set. Everybody was horrible to me. They just treated me like trash. And I said, my daughter has produced this film. They said, oh, well, that's it. So I did not have an easy time, but they were all teasing me. They were putting me down, and I had a ball. I had a ball.
Now, of course, as we all know, and you are here, you are the voice of Ursula.
Okay, well, that's fortunate to get to do that voice. I can't think of a voice in either a straight film, an animated film, or anything that is as mean as that kind of thing. I mean, is that the worst bitch you've ever seen? That's how and I adore her. When you think of it, nobody's bigger than Ursula, because physically she's the biggest old cow you ever did see. She's got a huge voice. She's got, everything is over the top. Is over the top. But what a fascinating creature. I have had more fun with that, and to see children, because before the age of 7, kids are petrified of her. I would be too. Because she's so big in every way. But after 7, they get the humor of her, the children do. And they aren't afraid of her anymore. But how fortunate are you as an actress to be able to play a character like that? You don't get those characters just regularly, Jim, like that, with all the dimensions to them. They're fabulous, fabulous.
And you've gotten to play her again and again in all kinds of different media since '89, or when you recorded was '88, I think.
'88, yeah. I think so.
And then you've done the subsequent sequels and the television
Sequels
show,
and games.
the
We
games.
got a lot of Ursula games out. But I've just been so pleased to be able to play that character, because she's multi-dimensional. She's got lots of edges. Lots of alleyways. And she can go any way you want her to go, but thank goodness they asked me to play it, because I've had a ball doing it.
I watched a little video because when you were here last time, I think you took a detour and you went to Walt Disney World and you rode the ride thing.
Yes, I did.
And I think that was with Jodie Benson. Was it the same
That's
part
right.
as you?
Jodie and I rode in, they put in a new Little Mermaid ride, and we did that, and we laughed and giggled and carried on like we were teeny. We had fun.
I think it's a fair time to start our Q&A portion. If you have a question, step right up to that red microphone. And go ahead and line up. Yeah, you don't have to wait one at a time. Come on down. Please state your name.
My name is Sherry Jones, and I have loved you, and I'm only going to say one word, Cinderella. Miss Carroll, could you tell us just a little bit about what that was like, Rodgers and Hammerstein and you playing? You were awesome. Was she not awesome?
Remember that creaking knee?
I did. I
Well,
love
that
it.
creaking knee and its brother or sister have been taken out a long time ago. Really, that's creaking. But that was such fun, number one, because Rodgers and Hammerstein have been absolute favorites of mine musically down through the history of American musical theater. And to work with Mr. Hammerstein, I think, was gone by then. But to work with Mr. Rodgers, who was a consummate professional, but the kindest of men, and Barbara Ruick, who played the other sister, we were working on the number for the two, and I hit a third harmony, and Barbara said, "Oh, Pat, oh, don't hit that third. Mr. Rodgers hates a third in anything." And I said, "Oh my God, I didn't know that." I said, "I can't hit anything else. I can't do a fourth. I can't do an eighth. I don't know what to do." Well, I was a nervous wreck, and Mr. Rodgers came in to listen to us, and I said beforehand, "Mr. Rodgers, I hate to admit something, but the only thing I can sing at the end of this number is a third. And I understand that you can't stand the third." And he said, "Pat, just do the third and don't even worry about it." So, see, never worry about anything. Just go on and do what you have to do.
Just want to say thank you for much I could. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for remembering that wonderful old symphony. Thank you. It was great fun.
My name's Melissa Jones. That's my mom. Yes, ma'am.
Do you always travel as a team?
Pardon?
Do you always travel as a team?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your name?
Melissa Jones.
Lucy?
Melissa.
Melissa?
Yes, ma'am.
Once I get my hearing fixed, I'm going to be wearing it.
My question for you is, because I watched Rodgers and Hammerstein with my mom. It was an amazing movie. Loved it. And my question though is, I know Ursula is like kind of your dimensional character. What was it about that you liked her? Like throughout voicing her, because I played the video game and I was like, is this really her original voice actor? And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes! But what was your favorite part about playing as Ursula? Like what were your favorite things about her?
Every part of her, because the character is so wonderful. And the ins and outs of her character are so wonderful. And they also go vocally because of her size. And the producers and the directors wanted that size to come through sound, which I thought was very smart, because that gives you a sense of her enormity. And she was enormous, wasn't she?
And got bigger. He was huge by the end of the film.
Yes. But I must say that I think working with a character like that and with gentlemen of the profession like that, you tend to be a little overawed by everything that's going on. But I treasured every second of it and enjoyed every minute of it. Because it isn't often you get to work with people like that in our profession, is it, Jim?
That's right. That's right.
Or play a character that huge.
Yes, or play a character that huge. Because I've not played one bigger since, and I don't expect I will in the future. So I'm very fortunate to have played that character.
And I love the way you played her. She was amazing. And just seeing her again in all the sequels and the video games, it was like, oh my gosh, you're continuing on with this legacy.
Oh, that's a lovely way of putting it. Thank you. It is to me, and I appreciate it tremendously.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, we met briefly yesterday, so it's lovely to see you again.
Thank you, and lovely to see you.
So I actually have two questions. My first is, you've recorded Ursula all these different times for various bits of media. So I was wondering, what's sort of the strangest thing you can remember having to record for her, where you're like, huh?
For Ursula?
Yeah, sort of the strangest, most out there bit of dialogue or song or anything.
Well, it's all been recorded. And at the time, it didn't seem weird. It seemed like, oh yeah, she would say that. But I can't think of anything that was on tour in recording, except they would ask me to be a little more quiet. So even with the professionalism of the recording and the people who do it, many times the actor is not aware of how they're coming across. So you better listen to the director, or you're going to be blowing up all kinds of sound equipment.
So my second question was, they've recently revamped the musical for when they did the European production and everything, and Ursula has a new song where I like to say she goes all Game of Thrones, and it's about how she killed all her sisters and everything. Have you heard that yet? And if so, what do you think? Yeah.
She kills off her sisters?
She had a whole bunch of sisters, and she killed them all until only Triton was left, but he was little then, and so she didn't know he was a threat, and then he got big and he kicked her out.
I'm quitting show business. What is going on here? Killed her sisters and kicked him out? Oh, it's like a soap opera. No, I haven't heard that, to be perfectly frank.
Yeah, it's the song is called Daddy's Little Angel.
And killing people, Daddy. Yeah. No, I haven't followed that very well.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciate you telling me about it. I'm going to beware.
Well, we'll YouTube it. We'll find it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I think Jessica Lange's performance. She was at a gala or something, and she did it, so you can hear it.
Isn't that funny? Well, you brought me news today, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I'm gonna hold you for 1 second because I'm reminded of a story that I'd like you to tell about working with Howard Ashman, borrowing some of his phraseology.
Yes. Howard Ashman was the young gentleman, young gifted gentleman.
Hold your mic back.
Oh, there you are. Lovely thing was hiding under my scarf. Well, take a little nap now. Howard Ashman was such a gifted young man. He was the lyricist of the team that did, what was it?
Little Shop. What else?
About 4 Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Ashman was one of them, and Howard was the other. And I had a suspicion from watching him that he did Ursula brilliantly. And I thought, well, do you have the guts to ask him if he would do the song for you? So in case he has added any little things of his own, that you could steal them? That's really what you're asking for, isn't it? So I thought, just be gutsy and go and do it, because if it helps you perform the song, anything is worth it. So I went to him and I said, Howard, would you please do me a favor and sing the song for me, because maybe there's something that you do that I haven't thought of and that might improve or enhance the song. And he was wonderful. He said, well, of course I'll do it. So by golly, he began singing the song. I stole about 300 things from him. The man just had so many little alleyways and nuances and emphases. It was emphases.
That's multiple emphasis.
So what do you have if you have emphases?
That's sets of multiple emphasis.
Oh, sometimes the teens get in the way, what can you do? But anyway, Howard sang a song, and I did get about 6 things from him that were absolutely perfect. But of course he wrote it. He wrote it. He knew what he was talking about. So what you hear in that finished song was stolen from Howard Ashman. But with his permission. I was not a thief in the night. So that,
Then you call it a collaboration.
oh, but that's lying. So that's the story about that.
You're a real trailblazer for women in comedy when you were coming out, and I was just wondering, were there other women that you were working with when you were coming out that helped or influenced, or that you really enjoyed working with, or maybe those that you didn't really like working with?
No, it was a very exciting time because this was the 50s, which seems like ancient history now. We should all be going to Byzantium. But at that point, there were a few young ladies about. Carol Burnett. And I tell you, I'm really, when I I first saw that young lady perform that she was one hot ticket, and that she was going to be the best that there was to be around, and she's proved to be over her lifetime in this profession. Don't you agree? There was another young gal named Kay Ballard, who also had a wonderful career not only in the theater, but in television and in films. Do you think of any of that period? Do you know the period I'm talking of?
Yeah.
Who are you thinking of?
Okay, Carol Burnett, I think Imogene.
Oh, Imogene Coca.
I love Imogene.
Well, you know, she was around for so long because she spanned 3 generations. And a brilliant comedian, but in her work with Sid Caesar, I found they also did some very touching things together. But she was so good.
And I don't think she was intimidated by him either. He was a big guy.
No.
And she was a tiny little lady, but she would get away with some stuff with him.
Well, you know where they first worked together. It was a place called Tammany, up in the Pocono Mountains, and it was an old socialist camp that was turned into a summer resort. And they had a theater company of about 20 performers. Every summer we spent about 20 weeks up there in the mountains doing sketches. Danny and Doc Simon would write the sketches. And we had composers who made original scores for us to do. And I tell you, it was like going to comedy school because we tried out so many things for audiences. But how perfect, they're old people, they're vacationing. They're vacationing, you know, half the time they're drunk, they don't know. But they were marvelous audiences, wonderful audiences. We're all young performers, we don't know that much, but we're eager to please people and to make them laugh. And we had a ball. We absolutely loved every day, and we did musical numbers, and I did one dreadful thing. On Wednesday nights, we had what we called a vaudeville.
Don't make me come over there.
I got that. On Wednesday nights, we had what they called a vaudeville. And all the young performers, there were about 20 young performers in the company, would go up on stage, and in the old days at the Paramount, they always used to move, check me on this, Jim, move the orchestra out of the pit, put it on the stage, so all the young performers performed in front of the orchestra. So we all did our things, and on Wednesday nights, on the vaudeville, we just came out and did our old acts that we did in supper clubs or saloons or wherever, and totally enjoyed it. And at one time, I was feeling rather naughty. So I went out on vaudeville night, and I did my regular act. And then I said, I would like to, if I may, and it would be an indulgence to ask this, if I might, I'd like to sing an old song I used to sing to my Irish grandfather before he went to bed at night. And I hope I don't break down and cry, because it's a very touching song, and I've sung it for so many years to him. So, with your kind indulgence, I'll sing it for you now. And the lights came down, and the strings in the orchestra came on, and there was a hot honey for the hills. And I sang, Schön wie die Laguna, lächtig wie der Stern. And throwing things at it. It was wonderful.
Hi, I'm Brittany.
I love that name, Brittany.
Oh, thank you. I love it as well.
Good.
Right.
You're stuck with it, so you got it.
I know, right? I know growing up for me, my grandmother, she was a major staple in my life, and we would, watch The Little Mermaid growing up. I would pretend to be Ariel, she would be Ursula. We would dance all around the house, going through all the scenes.
Oh, wonderful. God bless your grandma.
Oh, no, we still do it actually. My
I'm out of a job.
To this day, it's actually a major staple in our relationship where I'm, obviously, we all are major Disney fan. I'll, walk through the house singing these songs, and she's like, again, you'd make me watch that 3 different times every single night. And then she'd, say all of your lines and everything. And it's The Little Mermaid especially was a staple for me growing up, and even now it is. And you're truly an inspiration. And honestly, you've joined such like a legacy. Like you are, like, you know, you've made a legacy, but you're like, you know, up there with like, you know, all the Disney greats. And I know I'm not the only one truly inspired and touched by your work. And I was wondering how it felt for you to like, you know, be up there and to like have that type of, I don't want to call it power, that sounds like, you know, like, but not power, but like to have that, like, you know, like touch on, I want to say, like on those different generations. All right, that works. But like, how does that feel for you?
Well, I'll tell you, it feels wonderful, because number one, when I first came into this profession, I thought of it as a job of sharing. And I still feel that way today, not only about myself, but for all performers in our profession. I don't think if you don't have the right heart for this business, you're not going to last in it very long. And I think you have to have the spirit of, we all take care of each other. We all enjoy each other. And what's better than enjoying laughter together? Nothing in this world. You know very well, with your grandma and your family, the biggest laughs and the best laughs you've ever had in your life have been with them, because you have unspoken closeness as family members. And I laugh with my family until the tears come down my face. You know, we're just screaming, we can't get any breath. And that's wonderful. To share laughter as a family is one of the greatest gifts in the world. So for me, in my beliefs, that the theatrical profession is about sharing as a performer with audiences everywhere and in every kind of circumstance. It gives you a good feeling, as I think sharing always does in this world of ours. Don't you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello yourself.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well. I actually woke up a little bit earlier, so, but it's neither here nor there.
Oh, all right. I'll accept that.
The Lana Padilla, who plays the evil queen in Once Upon a Time, says that the character Ursula actually inspired her to portray herself as she is.
How lovely.
Who is your favorite villain? Disney villain, you know?
Vincent Price. I have admired him for years, but I know he's known to the younger people in the audience as a horror king. But he is an extraordinarily good actor. He has some of the most beautiful diction I've ever heard in the American theater. And I just, I think of him. I think of him. And that's my story.
Thank you.
Hello.
My name's Chelsea, and I just wanted to let you know it's a pleasure to meet the woman who made me hide under my coffee table my entire childhood.
I think.
Yeah, it is a compliment. Little Mermaid was my absolute favorite, but every time I saw you come on screen, I'd have to hide underneath the coffee table.
Oh, you poor baby. But you know what? That's wonderful for the character.
Yes, she
That
definitely
is.
had an
But,
impact.
as a child, it must be dreadful.
So I did have a question. With The Little Mermaid on Broadway, I was just curious how, I don't know if you've seen it, and how you felt like being the honor of being captured on a Broadway stage instead of just in our living rooms. How you felt about that?
Well, to be perfectly frank, there's more... hello again! There's more prestige in being received in your living room than on a Broadway stage, and I've been both. And I think it's all quite wonderful, but I think being in your living room is even better, because you have to pay too much money to be going to Broadway shows. Very welcome.
I'm Kira. And
What's your name?
Kira.
Kira. K-I-E-R-A?
No, C-I-A-R-A, Irish spelling.
Oh my God, in Gaelic.
But you said like when you came into the profession how wonderful it was, and I'm thinking about going into like the acting profession as well. And like,
What was it hard? Was it easy? Like, how was it? Like, how do you start, I guess?
If you have a choice, don't do it. No, I'm kidding you. If this profession is what you want, don't let anything stop you. Because it's going to be hard. You're going to get nothing but rejection constantly. But it's that way for young people in a lot of things. And if your heart is in this profession, you don't give up. And take your knocks, and don't think that you're the only person in the world who's ever had them. Everybody who's working, including Jim, have all had their knocks. And don't be afraid of that, because don't let it stop you. You keep going until you achieve what you set your heart and mind on. Okay, does that seem fair?
Yep.
All right. Go forward. Hello, you handsome son of a gun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, and this is a good follow-up question to the question that was just asked.
Oh, okay.
So in your historic career, is there any role that you auditioned for that you didn't get that you wish you had, or that you had a friend that had a part that you just salivated over and that you wish you could have had?
No, isn't that funny? I have never been envious of a fellow performer in my life, never have. And I just figured that what's supposed to be yours is going to come your way. So I don't fight for it. It's, as far as I'm concerned, in the cards, you know?
Right.
And I've never been envious of a fellow performer. Have you, Jim?
Only when they make more money.
Oh. Well, you're very honest. No, but I really, no, envy has never entered into it, because I figured, just as I told the young lady, everybody in this profession has had to deal with their dozen or two heavy blows. And it equalizes, I think, it equalizes people. And you aren't looking to grab other people's glory or their work. Just stick to your own pattern, you'll find your own way.
Thank you. Great answer. Thank you.
I think the only thing that I don't know if envious is the right word, but if somebody's talent. If I see somebody that is doing something that I couldn't possibly even imagine, I think that's like oh, I want to learn that. I want to.
But you're never going to have the time, Jim. We never do. And no matter how you might admire someone and their gifts and their talent, you don't have the years it takes to pop off the ball, you know. So we just...
I'm never going to dance in the Bolshoi.
Well, you can try. You can try. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, dear lass. My name is Dominique.
Dominique.
I've actually got 2 questions for you. One, are you ever going to do another part of The Little Mermaid for rides or anything?
On the rides?
For
Are
rides,
you going to
movies, or
do
anything?
the voice of Ursula again?
Or
do you
her
have
sister.
anything?
Not that I know of. I mean, they always surprise you by coming around a corner. They...
She just made a new Little Mermaid ride at Disney, which would be better with you, or even the Haunted Mansion would be better with you, because I heard your voice from last year when you did it, the entrance
Wasn't it
for...
funny? No, not that I know of, but I tell you, our profession is this way. You never know anything until it happens.
And also, would you ever consider going on Once Upon a Time, the TV show, and making a guest appearance?
Don't tell anybody. I've never seen it. It's a fact. I don't watch much television to begin with. Would you believe I read? You sick person. I'm so sorry, I'm being honest.
It's
And
not
my granddaughter watches it religiously. My older daughter watches it. My younger daughter is like me. She doesn't watch television very much. I apologize for that, but I'm being truthful.
You were the first movie my dad, who just recently passed away, got me to watch.
What?
So,
That Little Mermaid.
Was it Little Mermaid?
yes,
And your dad made you watch it?
yes.
God
After
bless
he
you.
made me watch Nightmare on Elm Street to calm me down to go to bed, it was Little Mermaid when I was very young.
Oh, God bless your dad.
So then he made me also read the book, so I knew the difference. So
He was giving you balance in your life.
yes, so thank you.
You're very
much.
welcome. My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Jose. The question I was going to ask, unfortunately, since you haven't seen Once Upon a Time, goes out the window.
Well, see what a bum I am.
Sorry. Because they did bring Ursula to the show, and I was wondering if you were, by any chance, did the voice. You didn't do the voice of Ursula, but did they ask you by any chance to actually do the voice of Ursula Once Upon a Time?
Well, they knew I didn't watch, so they didn't ask me. That's the truth. You know, wouldn't you do the same thing if you didn't watch the show? I wouldn't ask you to do one.
No, not really. Thank you.
And I hear it's a wonderful show, so keep watching.
I always do.
Good.
Big fan.
These are our last 3 questions coming up here.
Hello, Miss Carroll.
Hello, who are you?
I'm Nicole.
Oh, Nicole, there you are.
I wanted to ask you about your memoir. You had mentioned it last year, and in addition to your awesome, colorful career, you have such a soaring, positive spirit. And I was wondering if you'll be moving forward with that and including like inspiration and life tips like you did when you talked to us.
Absolutely. In fact, that's what most of it is. And most of that comes through this very profession. See how quickly I recovered? No, I'm not going as fast as I thought I was going to, but I'm enjoying it so much because what happens is, and I wish all of you would start doing your memoirs too. Don't let your life whittle away without putting it down so your family members can fill in the time that they weren't with you. Because think of what I'm writing about. My 3 kids had not enjoyed with me. They weren't here on planet Earth when I experienced that age time. But now, through memoirs, they can catch up. And they can be in it as well. So I think it's a heck of... Are you writing your memoirs?
Now I will.
I'm scared. I just think it's a doggone good thing for everybody to do because your family wants to know about the time they weren't with you. And they probably might like to see their names attached to your life. Try it. At least try a chapter. What will it hurt you? Try a little chapter and show it to some of your family members. And I'll make you bet they're going to get a big kick out of it.
That's everyone's homework.
What?
That's everyone's homework.
Oh, yes.
To go home, write a chapter of memoirs, and come back to next Spooky
And
Empire.
next year we'll want a full report. And there will be grades handed out. Yes,
Hi, Miss Carroll. I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
So I'm studying to be a voice actor, like you, and I was wondering, are there any tips and traits that you could possibly give me to help with my diction, articulation, and things like that? Because your speaking voice is wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll tell you, a good voice does not come just because you want it.
That's true.
You have to work at it. It's like sports. It's like music. It's like anything. So either find yourself a good vocal coach in the academic area or in a local theater where they have a wonderful theater, a speech coach, and work at it because it takes time. You have to accustom your tongue, your mouth, and your ears to your own sound.
Tip of
But
the
it's
tongue,
well
tickle
worth
lips.
it. It's well worth it. So don't give up on it and do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
It's okay. Have you broken the microphone already?
No!
I'm sorry.
Hi, Miss Carroll. I'm Gabrielle.
Hi, Gabrielle. Beautiful name.
Thank you. And it was much an honor to meet you yesterday and to see you again today.
Good.
And
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Little Mermaid has been a part of my life for a long time. It was actually my first daddy-daughter date. My dad took me to see the movies when I was little. So it's been all the way through my life. I'm a huge Ariel fan, but I'm also an Ursula fan.
Thank you.
The colors, everything that just drew me in. And I have to ask, what was your huge inspire or what got you into the character of Ursula? Like, was it hard? Was it easy? Did it come easy to you?
You know, I don't think it's ever easy as an actor to get into a character. I think it's very difficult, but we are only interpretive artists. We are not creative artists. So we rely very, very much on creatures called directors and producers, who usually have a better overall picture of the project in mind. So you listen to them, and you do as they instruct you, and you'll very seldom go wrong because they know what they're doing better than we do at the moment. And always remember, actors are not creative, they are interpretive. So don't go going gaga over actors.
That's a very, I was thinking about this the other day, because Brando had the same kind of thought.
Yes.
It was less of a creative and more of it was a craft rather than an art of itself. So that's a very
Well, it always
interesting.
has been.
Yeah.
There's never been any change, Jim, and actors who think that they are creative instead of interpretive are mad.
Well, they have a different kind of ego.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
And you do me one more favor. Can you give me a really good Ursula laugh?
Thank
you.
I don't think there's any better way to end this than with that. Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Carroll.